we're less of a transaction processing system, more of a data query system. In order to do the work of saying, we want to have this accurate master of data, we actually straddle sort of two worlds, right? We have the world that I call the data engineering space, which is really get the data from wherever we're sourcing it from, whether we're buying it or finding it online or wherever it is, process that in an effective and controlled way that we can monitor and then validate into a structured form that we can then work with. And then on the flip side of that is we need to then deliver that data out to all of the stakeholders who might need it. And so the data engineering, the tech and tools tend to live, we're much closer to what you'd call a data science role. And data engineering, that name has actually kind of gotten bigger in the world now, but before it didn't mean anything. We have, so it's, there's more databases, and you could think of it as ETL or ELT, these kinds of things, more Python and those kinds of tools. And that we feed in, and we've been leveraging Snowflake a lot to be our engine. So that's what we push stuff into. So that side of things. I'm looking for people with domain experience in these kinds of data sets. That's right now. We have a couple folks who have some background in this, but particularly I'm looking for corporate actions and fixed income related reference data experience and exposure. I'm even open at this point to analyst folks who maybe aren't as deeply technical, even just Excel sheet and SQL savvy, but really understand those domains well. My team could just use the help making good decisions on this data, because we're having to do some things kind of experimentally that we'd much prefer to just have more guidance. And then on the other side is that data delivery side, and that is microservices. Just like you would see in the clearing system or a variety of other systems we're trying to build these days. We want to provide these gRPC APIs that people can use to get at the data. And we also want to experiment with some newer things. We want to try GraphQL. We think that's going to be a pretty useful technology. And so, yeah, just need to get folks who have some interest and focus on that domain. We're less of a transaction processing system, more of a data query system. So the domains, like, the skill sets, they're close, but finding the right folks who are really interested in providing that great, query experience for users and building really, really thoughtful APIs. That's what we really want on that side. One of the things that I think is really critical for us as a startup and as a firm, I think a lot of the success that we have is derived from the fact that we've managed to put a reasonable level of thought into not just putting anybody where they go, but by finding people who really fit and have a good interest and aptitude for that particular corner of the business. So I never want to just hire for the sake of hiring. That said, and I also don't want to hire, we've learned the hard way that this domain, you're seeing it yourself. In 6 months, it's almost impossible to learn all of prime broker. It's massive. And so in order to be effective, though, I do think that domain knowledge and understanding it, it's taken me a while. I came from a lot more pre-trade background. At Citadel, I was exposed to some of the clearing stuff, but a lot of the rest of it, not so much. And so I've had to learn as well. But my background, having seen a lot of the impact of this on the other side, I was able to pick it up really quickly. So I think a lot of people, we want to make sure that we allow that room for people to explore and learn and grow, and also to build the ladders